You can be in the western Ukraine and missile or drone will come and wound you or kill you. So, I mean, people don't think about safety in Ukraine. If you came to Ukraine, forget about safety. Just do what you want to do.
Ukraine will celebrate a special day today, marking 33 years since they declared independence from the Soviet Union in 1991.
We send you our warmest wishes as you mark your Independence Day. I want you to know that we stand with you for as long as it takes, with whatever it takes, until victory, until a just and lasting peace. Slava Ukraini.
That was the Prime Minister speaking earlier on. To bolster the feeling of reassurance in the progress of the war, President Zelensky has added that the Ukraine will soon be able to attack any point in the Russian Federation. But how do the Ukrainians feel on this day? Well, with me is Audrey Kurkov, a journalist, former prison guard and author of Our Daily War, a personal memoir about the experience of living with war. And Audrey is in the studio with me. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Tell me about today. How is today celebrated usually in Ukraine? Perhaps it's slightly different on this year.
Well, before the war, actually, the celebrations were formal, organized by the state, and some people took part in the celebrations, some people ignored them, yes, of course. But from 2014, actually, the celebration became much more important. And now, especially after full-scale invasion in 2022, it's a special day for every Ukrainian because, I mean, it's just the feeling people have that we are resisting, we are surviving, we are defending independence of Ukraine, because independence of Ukraine means independence and freedom for every citizen of Ukraine. It's the same feeling I have.
So what will be happening today all across Ukraine?
Well, I mean, some people will probably go out to central squares in the cities and in the towns. Everybody from the early morning today is actually sending good wishes to each other. And I received already lots of like almost New Year wishes, but independence wishes, yeah. And I also answered and I wished everybody the victory, although, I mean, the concept of victory is not clear now in this situation.
Audrey, what is the feeling among the people of Ukraine? As we said, today is a special day, but in general, what's the morale of the civilians in Ukraine?
Well, it's different because, I mean, when the Kursk incursion started, which was very unexpected for everybody, I mean, people got high in their hopes and spirits, thinking that this is something unbelievable, that Ukraine, to counterattack Russia, actually enters Russia's territory while Russia is advancing in Donbass. Some people were skeptical, saying that actually we need more forces in the east to defend Ukrainian territory, not to attack Russian territory, which we are not going to hold on to. But anyway, I mean, there is no despair, there is no depression. People are still firm in their belief that actually we will reach some kind of just peace, as Mr. Starmer said. Yeah, I mean, of course, we should understand that 7-8 million of Ukrainians are refugees abroad, and I cannot say what they feel. I mean, many of them are hoping for the possibility to return back home, which means they're hoping for the victory. Yeah, but generally, people who stayed in Ukraine, who are in Ukraine now, I mean, they are defiant. And for them, actually, this day is the day also to think about the happier future than the reality.
And what does that future look like? What does victory look like, do you think?
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, the victory meant liberation of all occupied territories, and at once, not in 10 years' time. Now, people understand that it will be more complicated and it will take more time, and maybe not all liberated territories will come back at once. But it's clear that politicians in Ukraine will not agree to any territorial deal. So, I mean, and that's what Russia will demand. Russia is saying that sort of we can freeze the front line and turn it into border. which is unacceptable for Ukrainians.
Tell me about the new book. Of course, you won lots of plaudits for the Diary of an Invasion, which was a deeply personal and profound account of the war in Ukraine. But the new book, Our Daily War. Tell me about this new book.
Well, I mean, you can consider it a sequel, but it is a different book because it has more text, and it is less diary and more essays about real stories happening around in Ukraine during the war, practically unknown or very little known stories and situations. Because I mean, I'm traveling in Ukraine, I'm doing a lot of research, I'm in touch with dozens of people in different parts of Ukraine. So I'm trying actually to show in this book how Ukrainian society survives the war, how people act, how they are trying actually to also contribute to the victory, because I mean, a huge number of Ukrainians are volunteering and helping the army, helping the refugees still, as in the beginning of the war happened.
And give us a little glimpse of some of the stories you've been dealing with. You say that there is this sort of underlying moral duty from people to sort of somehow be contributing to the war effort, to the victory, but yet there's also that return to some sort of, or attempt to be some sort of normality in life. So give us give us an example of what you've been coming across.
I mean, first of all, an attempt to lead the same way of life as
Is it
before the war.
impossible?
It is also a defiance. It is a sign of resistance. And I mean, you cannot buy theater tickets now 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the show, because actually people think that actually going to the theater, supporting the arts, is also contribution to the victory. But one of the stories in the book is actually about association of Ukrainian sommeliers, which were fighting in Europe to exclude Russian sommeliers from wine tasting international competitions.
Right.
One story is about a tuna delivery, fresh tuna delivery from Norway overland by lorries into Ukraine, because once a week a huge tuna arrives to one Japanese restaurant in Kyiv, and a cook slices it, portioning it for different restaurants, and everybody knows where to find it. So I mean, it's lots of small stories like this which make this book.
And how do you get to those stories, Audrey? And how safe are you when you're traveling throughout the country?
Well, I mean, it's Russian roulette. You never know, because, I mean, you can be in the western Ukraine and missile or drone will come there and wound you or kill you. So, I mean, people don't think about safety in Ukraine. If you came to Ukraine, forget about safety. Just do what you want to do. But generally, I mean, I'm a writer. I do a lot of journalism. I know a lot of people. And I'm very sociable. So actually, I whenever I'm traveling, I'm trying to talk to people who are traveling together with me in the train compartment, or who are suddenly, accidentally in the same cafe with me. And of course, I'm listening to conversations around. Sometimes I pick up very interesting information, and then I go deeper.
What's your next book going to be? Have you already thought about it?
Well, actually, I am finally back to writing fiction, which I couldn't do for 2.5 years. So, I mean, my latest translated into English novel was The Silver Bone. This is the first novel, historical crime novel about Kyiv in 1919. At that time, Kyiv was second time under Bolsheviks occupation. And the second one is already translated. It's called The Stolen Heart. And now I'm finally to the third one, which I started before full-scale invasion. I had 70 pages written before 24th of February 2022.
Well, Audrey, wish you all the best with the new book. And also the book that's out now, Our Daily War, sounds absolutely fascinating. I'm fascinated about the Japanese restaurant in Kyiv that receives that one tuna every, is it week?
Every week. Every week, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a big piece of tuna.
What a story. Audrey Kurkov, journalist, former prison guard and author of Our Daily War. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. I really appreciate it.